right, Chris.
Two more questions for you. If I voluntarily decide to sell my house to an illegal Mexican immigrant, who does my house and the parcel of land belong to then? Does it belong to we the people, or does it belong to that Mexican that paid for it?
That would be in the courts for quite a long time.
Well,
and by force, either the Mexican owns it or not.
Okay.
By force.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. And then the second question is, there's a border between New Mexico and Arizona. It's an open border. Is either state threatening the sovereignty of either state?
Well, there's a difference between state sovereignty and national sovereignty. The federal government.
See, it's all made. These are all things made up in your head.
It's not.
Okay, all right, he hasn't spoken. Let him go now. Let me tell you what the schedule is. We're going to have to finish here real quick. I know Drew wanted to have say something about the movies he's got over there. So get up here and get ready, because you're going to have that much time to do it.
Yeah, you got 3 minutes.
And we got the raffle. Frank's got to take care of the raffle and so on. So we need to be done in just a few minutes here. We're going to have this gentleman's going to speak, and then we're going. Hey, excuse me while you interrupt.
It's not made up in his head. I see that there is no definition being set here, because you're saying it's okay in a way for these illegals to come into our country.
So you say our.
Our country as the United States. You're not. Everybody else is but yours. On the other hand, you want your liberties to be defended by a government.
No, that's the only justification for their existence.
Okay, so where does that government's line end?
When they stop doing that.
Yeah, but does it go into Mexico? The borders now in Mexico? Does our United States government?
I don't even address that. See, you guys keep thinking I'm defending some line or role or something. I'm going to declare your independence. It's very simple. How to define a bad government when it stops defending individual rights. And you're saying, my individual right is to have a collective, we, fascist, communist, whatever it is, collectivist state of, with a border. And I'm going, that's it? That's it? That's your definition? All of a sudden, we got a defined team? I mean, we got, a uniform and colors and the stadium and all that kind of stuff. This is our stadium, not in our house, hoorah, give me an A. I mean, this is it.
So the UN says everything that you just said. That's the UN's charter, what you just said. So you're okay then within a global government?
No, I'm within a herding government. This is,
who's going to defend your liberties then?
Me, am I allowed? This is my point. You're trying to make every justification you can for government, and they have a promise for you to do that. They say, this is what we promised, pinky swear, okay? And I'm going, okay, all right, we'll give you a shot. Let's go. And the further you go along in time, the worse it gets. At what point do you have, when all the Bill of Rights are violated every day, at what point is that contract null and void?
When the
When
government
does
gets
that
the
happen?
opposite ends for which it was created, is the right, the duty of the people to change it.
And that's kind of my point.
We're there.
Okay, I just want to make sure that people, I didn't ask you to agree with it, okay? I just want you to understand why I'm so convinced this is a bad law. That's it.
You're just fighting with your parents.
It's something like that. I mean, sooner or later, the next generation just takes over, and that's the way it is. Okay, real quick, make whatever comment or question, because we've got to get it to this. Okay, we're going to go from here to here. We'll start with you. Go ahead.
Just thinking out loud, on page 2, the very last 2 lines, 44 and 45, a person who is a legal resident of this state may bring an action in the Superior Court to challenge any particular agency of the state, blah, blah, blah. I know that with contracts, if there's something illegal, illogical, unconstitutional, the whole thing is void. And I just kind of wonder why this is in here. Constitution, Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2, it states, and I'm paraphrasing, in all cases in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. So I don't understand.
See, this is a political document. It was not a legal document. okay? Because what she's saying is whenever you have a state as a party in something, the ultimate jurisdiction goes to the Supreme Court. That was the deal. What they did in here is whenever anyone, any resident, legal resident of Arizona, I forgot to do that part in this law, whenever any legal resident thinks that any local municipality is not enthusiastically enough enforcing this law, the federal immigration laws, if the city of Peoria is not enthusiastically enough enforcing federal immigration laws, you have the right to sue them, and you get $500, or it goes to the state or something, $500 to $5,000 a day for every day they don't have that policy. Because it used to say policy and or practice. Well, they scratched through practice because they, I guess it wasn't defined in writing, and they said policy. So if you have a policy, they want any resident, which of course the guys wrote the bill and the buddies of, they're sitting there waiting, and they're going to sue the local municipality for not getting the Mexicans strong enough.
And guess who pays for it?
So this, that's what that provision is in there. Okay, Russ, really quick.
Okay, quick, two
Tell me all
items.
their budget.
Backing this young lady up. U.S. Constitution, Article 3, Clause 2, Section 2. This case should have gone to the Supreme Court, not this federal judge.
This whole thing is unconstitutional.
It's just, you got to understand, half of what the government does in Constitution. Well, okay. Or a lot. And it doesn't matter. Okay, next fight, real quick.
No, that's not.
Come on, let's go.
Okay, listen. If you think this law is bad, read the Mexican immigration laws. This is a walk in the park.
That doesn't make it justified.
Okay, that gentleman back there, go ahead.
I have something new that has not been brought up to this date. I have a way to kill and cripple the drug trade.
Legalize.
Within a year. I was in the Navy, and we went to a school called ABC School.
Go ahead and speak up, I can hardly hear
I
you.
went to a school in the Navy called ABC School, Atomic, Biological, and Mechanical Warfare School. Okay? It's a thing that we all had to go to. And one of the things we had there in the school that we learned about
It's got to be a short story, man. We're really on time.
was the fact that there is a odorless, tasteless chemical that can be put into the water or the food or any substance around. And the people who take this will vomit for about a week solid. They'll be incapacitated. If we took the drugs that came across the border, and instead of taking the drugs and getting rid of them, if we took them and injected this substance into the drugs and then release the drugs back out, can you imagine all the people who are buying their wonderful drugs and they just vomit for about a week?
You want to initiate chemical war?
You do all the drugs you want as far as I'm concerned, I don't care.
Just imagine if you wanted to botch your beautiful cocaine and all that stuff, and all of a sudden
We can
for
put
all
it
your
in
money,
fast food too.
you just vomit your guts out for about a week.
That anymore.
I think
Hey, you're being quiet, I can't hear.
What's wrong with cocaine?
How are we going to stop the CIA from bringing the drugs in?
Yeah, no, you're the wrong crowd on that. We gotta have a whole other meeting on that. Okay, Tiger, go. Come on, real quick, people.
The statement about the Mexican government is not invading us, that there's 500 million or 1,000 people coming into our country are just migrants, but it really becomes important to realize that when these people become naturalized citizens through amnesty, that those 500,000 people, which is roughly a sixth of the population, will have a definite effect on our government and how we are all...
They can't make it any worse.
Well...
Yeah, see, that's kind of my point, is that, there's we can go on and on and on about...
Our Constitution is so...
I can scream really loud. We can go on and on and on about the influence of the culture of somebody coming in and the religion and their language and their English first and all this stuff and how in the public schools and everything and voting. And I'm going, all that just falls away if the only role of the government was defense of individual rights and not stealing from me. They always worried about the use of the welfare state and they never addressed the welfare state.